Hey, I wanted to take just a few minutes to talk about a question that has come up a lot recently, and that is about the problem of having your toes curl after your stroke. That is something that really gets in the way of walking. It can be painful, and it certainly isn't anything that can be built upon to help you walk more the way that you would want to. So that is something that I see a lot with the clients that I work with. And so I just wanted to share with you the process we go through, at least a part of it, to help folks start to remediate that and improve that toe bending or toe flexion. So the first thing that I always look at is actually the skin of someone's toes. And so if you have been bending for a while, and a while can be different for different people. I mean, I have worked with folks who have gotten out of the rehab hospital, and that stay can vary for folks, and they have been bending, and they have the issue of when we want to work on trying to stretch and move towards straightening, the skin itself is actually very tight, and if you're not careful, you can stretch it and then you'll end up splitting that skin. It's not the worst thing in the world. It bleeds a little bit. It will heal up, but it's nice to avoid tearing your skin whenever possible. So one thing that I do is that I recommend that folks get some lotion and they start lotioning their toes. And I will have folks lotion like underneath and actually go in between their toes with their fingers to open up in between those and just rubbing all around with that lotion in their toes. I'm gonna show you a little bit of demonstration towards the end of the video of one of the tools that we use, but it's a little difficult to get a good picture of toes, so we'll just demonstrate with hands. So I'll have people for about a week lotion up their foot real good in that area, and when they're doing that, they can start to stretch their toes in kind of that lifting up position, and I'll show you a demonstration of that here at the end of this little video as well. And then finally, we like to give folks something where they can stretch for a prolonged period of time, and for that I like to use a silicone tool that's meant to stretch toes. So toes curling is not just a problem that folks who are stroke survivors can have. So there are things out there that you can use to stretch. So one of the things that I like to give people, let me get that on there, is something like this. And it's silicone, it's nice and squishy, it's soft. And if you lotion your toes and then slide this on, it goes on a little easier. And then I have the clients that I work with just hang out with that on their toes for up to 15 minutes. Depending on how tight you are, that may be too long at first. So some folks, I'll have them just start with a few minutes to see how it feels. If they don't have any problem, they can start to progress the time that they wear them. But I, for sure, do not recommend people walk in these. They're just for sitting, being still, and stretching. So that's one version of it. This also, if you notice, there is this piece is what is going to give you the stretch, and it isn't huge. There are different versions out there on the market. In fact, in yoga, having your feet be stretched out in that way is beneficial. So there are tools out there to help stretch your toes in that direction. One I have recommended in the past is also is called YogaToes. That one is significantly wider in the amount that it'll stretch your toes apart, but you may be there. Again, I like to sort of show a beginner version for folks if they'd like to start that. So for most of the clients that I work with, issues that they have after stroke relate a lot to lack of range of motion, stiffness, and so stretching is always one of the first things that we do. I generally find it's the thing that's been skipped or glossed over in the journey towards improvement after their stroke. And so generally there is an element that I include with people that is all about stretching. Then the next part that you would move on to is working on changing the signal of that bending, working towards straightening, and also working on your brain not sending as much signal to bend. And so there's strategies that I employ with the folks that I work with, and in future videos we'll talk a little bit about that. If you have questions, what you can do is just hit the email button on our website and you can email me. If you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to head over to our website, thrivestroke.com, and check out the blog. This will be on the blog. You can zoom around the website. You could also sign up for the newsletter that we offer. We're going to be sending out tips, information, and lots of good stuff to help you move forward along your journey with stroke. So thanks for being with me. So just so you all can see, in terms of stretching, I'll have people just take lotion and you're going up your toes in that direction. I'll have people rub in between, trying to get that meaty part of your thumb down in there, spreading them apart, pulling toes back. Once your skin is nice and loose, doing them one at a time even. All right. And then if you have lotion on those toes, it can make it easier to get these toe spreaders on. The anatomy of your toe also can make a difference. I don't know if you can tell, but I tend to have kind of long toes. So I can sort of work those in. If you have shorter toes, it may be a little bit harder, okay? But that's how you can get those on. And in the next little clip, you'll be able to see it from the top to see how it's got them spread out. This is one of the sets of YogaToes. So you can see this actually would go this way. So your big toe goes in there, and the rest of your toes. So you can see the stretch is much bigger across your feet, okay? Just so you can see that one.